grade 7s, welcome to your Friday math lesson. So we were talking about how to order fractions from least to greatest, and if you have regular fractions. So for today we're going to do a review of our regular fractions, and then we're going to try going into mixed fractions. So it's going to be a little bit about seeing how the mixed fractions work. I know we did a little bit of that the last lesson, but also how to incorporate improper fractions in there. And improper fractions are basically when the top number is bigger than the bottom number. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that once we get through the review. So first things first is our review. To figure out which fractions are bigger or smaller than others, the easiest way to do it is to put them on the strips. So I have to put least over here, and my greatest will be over here. And easiest way for me to organize them is to create my fraction strips. So you can draw them out, or if you want to, you can use those strips that I sent you on the assignment page from Wednesday, and you can print those out and use those to help you out. And they will be able to kind of very clearly show you which one is bigger or smaller than the other, because they're drawn much more perfectly than what I can do with a pen and pencil. So let's just do my last rectangle. And there we go. So my first fraction is 5/8. So this rectangle or this fraction strip right here will be for 5/8. This one will be for 3/4. And this one will be for 11/8, or 11/12, sorry. So my first one, I have to split this up into 8 equal sections. So I'm going to split it in half, split these in half again, that will give me 4, and split each of these in half, and that will give me 8. And I have to color in 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. This one is 3/4, so I gotta split these up into 4 equal sections. So there we go, and I color in 3 of these. So 1, 2, 3. And now we have 11/12, so I gotta split these up into 12. Oh boy. Try to do as perfect or as best as you can so I can clearly show you which one is smaller or bigger than the other. So I gotta color in 11 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, and now I can visually see which one is my smallest and which one is my greatest fraction. So my smallest fraction is obviously 5/8 because it's the shortest out of all 3 of them. So 5/8 is my least greatest fraction. And 11/12 is obviously my greatest. And in the middle, I have 3/4. 3/4 goes right in the middle. So there we go. That's our regular fractions. Now let's talk a little bit more about mixed fractions. So mixed fractions are when we have a whole number and a fraction right beside it. So that whole number means that there's already one whole, and then this here is part of a whole. So if a recipe calls for 1 1/3 cups of flour, it's asking for 1 whole cup of flour. So the whole cup, that's our whole amount, and 1/3 of a cup is 1/3 of that one amount. So this is one whole number, and then this is what is left over, or this is part of a whole. So it's like eating 1 1/3 pizzas. It's 1, and then you eat another 1/3 of a pizza like this. So those are our mixed numbers. An improper fraction is when our top number is bigger than our bottom number. So if I gave you a number like 4 over 3, 4 is bigger than 3. So it means I have 4 parts of a whole. However, if 4 is bigger than 3, that means it's an improper fraction. That means this top number is bigger than the bottom. But to put it visually is, or let's say a recipe calls for 4/3 of a cup of flour. It never will, but let's just use it for an example. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each one is 1/3 of a cup of flour. So let's just say these are each 1/3. So if I added all these up together, it would be, I have to add all these ones up together, which gives me 4, and then my bottom number stays the same, so 3. What this means is 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, these 3 together creates 3 over 3, which means this is equal to 1 whole. So if I put these 3 cups of flour together, that creates 1 whole cup of flour. And then I have 1/3 of a cup left over. Okay, so an improper fraction is another way of showing a mixed number. A mixed number is the proper way to represent a fraction. Improper is, that's just it, the improper way to represent it. Because the normal rules for fractions are that the top number cannot be bigger than the bottom number. However, sometimes when you're solving problems, like adding fractions together, if I added 5/7 plus 4/7, 5 plus 4 equals 9 over 7, because my denominator stays the same. All of a sudden, I have an improper number. So that's when you would have improper numbers, is often when you're doing an operation fraction, like adding or subtracting or something else, and you end up having this whole number, or this number that's bigger than the bottom. So if you have these numbers, there is a way to make it into a mixed fraction, because if you're ordering fractions, so let's do an example. I'm going to give us 3 fractions, and we're going to try to order them from least to greatest. Just like we were on the other page, except these are going to be improper fractions and mixed fractions. So let's draw these out. I have 1, let's do 1 and 1/4. We have 5, let's not do 5/4, let's do 7 over 4, and this one will be 2 and 1/3. So I need to put these from least to greatest. So least will be over here, greatest will be over here. So the way to do these is we're going to do our strips. However, because this is a whole number, number is bigger than this bottom number, and then this is a whole number, we're going to have to draw multiple strips out, or actually in this case, let's do pizza slices. We haven't done too many of those lately. So this will be my 1/4. 1 and 1/4 will be this one. This will be 7 over 4. And I'm going to do 2 and 1/3 over here just because I'm running out of room. Oh boy. I'm not even be able to fit all of these. Okay. Those are the 3 pizzas for it. So let's just try to separate these a bit just so you can visually see which one's which. All right, 1 and 1/4. So my bottom number for this mixed fraction, this is the number I care about in a mixed fraction to figure out how many slices I put these pizzas into. So this number right here, That's what I care about to figure out how many slices I gotta split these up into. So I gotta split both pizzas into 4 equal slices. My first pizza, this is a whole pizza, so I color in the entire thing. Okay, now, so that's my whole number. Now this is gonna be my 1/4, because if I put these together, it creates that 1 1/4. So now I just color in 1/4 of this pizza. All right, my next pizza, this one is 7/4. Is 7 bigger than 4? It is. So I'm going to split these pizzas up. This is the number I care about, remember? That bottom number is what I care about to figure out how many times I split these pizzas up, or to what number of slices each pizza gets. So that's my number I need is 4. I have to color in 7 slices. So it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I colored in 7 quarter slices of pizza. Okay? So very similar to this one, except in this case, we just had a top number that was bigger than a bottom number. That's what you need to pay attention to when you're drawing your strips or drawing your pizzas, is if your top number is bigger than your bottom number, that means you will have to make more than one pizza or make more than one fraction rectangle or strip. Okay, and my last pizza is 2 1/3. So this is the number I care about, is 3. So each pizza's got to be split into 3 equal pieces as best as possible. Okay, now this number here means 2 whole pizzas are colored in. So 2 whole pizzas. This number right here means how many of this third pizza I color in, which means 1. So if I was to draw this out, this would be 1, 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2, and this is 1/3 of a pizza colored in. So that's my 2 1/3. Now, looking at all these pizzas, which is my biggest fraction? 2 1/3. Because I can see that there's 3 pizzas I need to make for that, so it's obviously the biggest. Okay, which one is my smallest? Well, looking at these 2 fractions, this one I didn't color in as much of this pizza as I did of this one. So I know that this is my smallest fraction, and this is my middle one. Okay, we're gonna do one more quick example of ordering fractions, and then I'm going to put 2 mixed numbers this time instead of just 1. Okay. Okay. All right, now I need 3 fractions. So let's do 5/4, 1 1/8, and this one will be let's do 12, let's do 11/10. All right, so I have 2 improper fractions because these top numbers are bigger than these bottom numbers, and I have 1 regular mixed fraction. So let's try doing the pizzas again this time. So this will be my first fraction over here. This will be my second one. And this will be my last one. So we're going to try to figure out which one is the biggest, smallest, and in the middle. So 5/4, if this top number is bigger than this bottom number, it means I'm going to need 2 pizzas. So 1 and 2. Okay, this is a mixed fraction, meaning I know I automatically need 2 pizzas because it's a whole pizza plus a little bit of a second one. And then this one, top number is bigger than the bottom, so I know I need 2 pizzas. There we go. Now let's split these pizzas up. Bottom number is how many slices I split the pizza into. So in this case, each pizza gets split into 4 equal sized pieces. Okay? And I color in 5 quarter slices. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Now, my next one is 1 1/8. So each pizza gets split to 8 equal slices. So let's split these up. And 1 and 4, 6, 8. There we go. So 1 whole pizza. That means this whole pizza gets colored in. Next one is the 1/8. So I just color in 1 slice of this pizza. My last one is 11/10. So I gotta split these up into 10 equal pieces. So that'd be 4. Oh, how am I gonna split this up? Okay, you try and make these pieces as equal as possible, or else it's going to be very hard to tell which one is bigger. One, two, three, four, 5. Okay, there we go. I figured it out. They're not perfect, but I think they're okay to be able to tell. All right, there we go. Finally. So I got to color in 11 slices. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right. Right off the bat, by looking, which one is my biggest fraction? So, all of these pizzas have this one colored in entirely. So right now I need to look at these pizzas right here to be able to tell which one is bigger than the other. This one here has this huge slice colored in. All of these ones have much smaller slices colored in. So I know that this is my biggest fraction. So 5/4 is the greatest one. So I'm going to put that right over there. So greatest fraction is 5/4. My next biggest fraction is, let's see, this is a pretty big slice compared to this one. This one's much smaller. So 1/8 is my middle. So this is my middle fraction. And then my smallest one would be this one because of how small this slice is here. So least is 11/10, which goes right there. So that's how we order our fractions. So you have to pay attention to how many strips you have to use. So in this case, with these improper fractions, it means I know I had to make at least 2 pizzas for each because there's going to be more number of slices that I needed versus how many slices the pizza was divided into. Okay? If you have an improper fraction, it has to stay, your top number has to stay on top and the bottom number has to stay on the bottom. Because if you switch these around, it would give you a totally different fraction. So they have to stay in the right order. You can't just say like, oh, this is improper, I just switch it around to make it 4/5. Because then no. It will not be the same amount. As you can tell, 4/5 is only part of a whole number. Whereas 5/4 is at least a whole pizza plus a little bit left over. Right? So that's your lesson for Friday, is you're going to have a sheet and you're going to try to order mixed fractions from least to greatest. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Remember to take some time to take some care of yourselves. Do something that you really enjoy doing. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend. Email me if you have any questions at all. And I will see you Monday.